What's going on, guys? We're here for another episode of the Going for Two podcast. This is a week two review, week three preview. Coming to you a little bit later this week, but all good. I'm your host, Hunter Waldrop, and this is my co-host, Jansen. Jansen, how we doing today, buddy?
Doing great, man. Yeah, guys, sorry it's taken so long for us to get on this podcast. We've both had dealing with school, I'm dealing with work, so we've both been pretty busy, and it's been hard to fit it in our schedule, but we got it done.
Yep, that's
We
right.
made it work.
We're just glad to bring it to you, even though it's 2 days for next week's or for week three. But
Yes,
hey, as long as we get it in, that's all that matters. So
I
I'm
agree.
excited,
Me too.
looking
Had a
forward to it.
great weekend last weekend.
Oh,
Great
last
college
week
football.
lived. I mean, I was not expecting all the chaos that happened, but
No, I wouldn't
I'm
either.
glad. I mean, that's why you play the games. I said in a few of the previews, that's why you play the game, folks. And we have a slide just for upsets. So
Yes.
I
All
mean,
right, well, let's
we're
dive right
looking
into
forward
it.
to it. So yeah, let's hop right on into it, my friend.
So if you aren't yet, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube account and leave a like and a comment. Whatever y'all want to tell us, we'll take we'll take anything. Tell us what you think we could do better. Tell us what you think of our plays and who we think or who y'all think looks good this week and who y'all think is gonna have a downfall this week. And then make sure you follow us on Twitter at going_for2. Hunter gets on there and he tweets out during like games that we're watching or games that we've talked about on the podcast and things like that. So if you drop us a follow, it'd be greatly appreciated. All right, let's get into the game of the
Well,
week.
yeah, this was the game of the week, and I was not expecting this one to be the game of the week. But hey, I'm not complaining whatsoever. Awesome game between these two. I mean, you're the Texas man. I'll let you talk about it first. So you hop right on into it, my friend.
I only have a couple things to say about them, but I think Texas looked absolutely amazing against Alabama. Like I thought they were like I wouldn't say if okay, if Quinn Ewers was the quarterback, I think they would have beat Bama, and I think we could all agree on that. I think because Hudson Card played, it kind of pushed them back a little bit. But I mean, when you're competing like the way they did and made it this close of a game to the number one team in the nation, you're proving something. And I know I said on the podcast that I was going to take Bama -20, but after I got off, I kind of thought about it more, and I was like, what does a like what do they have to lose? They have nothing to lose. They were expected to get mopped by Bama, and Bama came in with, oh, we're just going to absolutely kill these guys, and that's where I kind of thought that they screwed up because you shouldn't have counted out Texas. They have some studs on their team. Like Bijan Robinson's a stud. Like I know Quinn is kind of early, but I mean, I think he could be a stud. I really do. I think their defense is pretty good, keeping Alabama to only 20 points, but I also think Alabama did not play to their best potential. I definitely think that they played down to their opponent, and I think they should have mollywopped Texas, but I don't know. Like nothing is more scary than a soldier that has nothing to lose. And I think Texas came in with that mentality, and they just showed up. And if they play like that the rest of the season, I think you could catch them in Dallas at the end of the year.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, if they play like this, and if Quinn Ewers can stay healthy, which I've read some reports this week that he might be able to return a little bit earlier than they might think, and that the injury might not be as bad as what they first saw it as.
Yeah,
You could catch them in Dallas for the Big 12 championship, and I think the game changer was the defense.
I
I
think so
was
too.
1000% not expecting Texas defense to only hold the Heisman Trophy winner to 20 points. I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, when it mattered most, Bryce Young showed why he won the Heisman last year and how
Yeah,
he's so gifted and talented. But I mean, that Texas defense was kept them in the game. Even when Quinn went out, I think Alabama had 6 straight punts in
yeah.
the second half, and half of them were 3 and outs. So
And
I
and
mean,
and another thing that cost them was there were a lot of missed calls. Texas had a missed call in the end zone, a PI in the end zone, and then a holding call where Bryce Young like avoided the sack and then ran out. They were holding the edge right there, and then the Bryce Young's leg was down at the end, so it was a safety.
There's a bunch of missed calls throughout
I
every
think so
game, but
too.
yeah, there's definitely.
I think it could go for both teams, but I really do think Texas should have won this game, and I will stand by that.
And I think, with the way Quinn Ewers, I know we didn't get to see a lot of him. I think we only got to see one full quarter. Yeah, but like in that one quarter, like based off how he played against Louisiana Monroe the week before, I was like, oh man, he's not gonna do good. But the
Yeah.
true freshman offensive line stepped up huge. They were blocking Will Anderson, they were blocking Dallas Turner, and I mean Quinn Ewers was making plays, and he held his own. And I hate to see what happened to him because
Yeah,
I
me
want
too,
to see
man.
more of him. And I
Yeah.
think I'm not going to be the guy, because I've heard enough of it as a Georgia fan. Oh, if Jameson Williams wouldn't have gotten hurt, Alabama would have won the Natty. So I'm not going to be the guy to sit up here and say, well, if Quinn Ewers wouldn't have gotten hurt, Alabama wouldn't have
Okay,
won this
yeah.
game.
I get that.
But
I understand that.
I think the chances definitely would have been a lot higher if Texas, because they were just rolling. They were on, capitalizing on all cylinders. But
Yeah.
I think a thing that a lot of people, I think it's only week 2. It's a little bit of an overreaction. Um, Underreaction to Texas, obviously, because we're seeing how good they can be. But this is by far, they said it, 15 penalties against Alabama, the most all time by a Nick Saban coach team. That's the most undisciplined you'll ever see them, like, I think, all time, and do not expect that to continue to happen,
No.
and
He's gonna
expect
get that team in check.
Alabama's still gonna be Alabama, guys. Like,
Yeah.
they're still gonna be a top 2, top 3 team in the nation, top 1 team in the nation. They're gonna get it figured out. It's
Yeah.
still week 2, but, if
I
Texas
think
could have came out of Austin with a win, man, could you just imagine the
yeah,
shape and the
imagine the
way college
town.
football would be today?
Yeah. Like, imagine the town, bro. Like, Texas would just absolutely go berserk. And I'm not really a big UT fan because, like, I mean, I root for Georgia because, like, I grew up around Georgia football, and that's like my roots is I go back to living in Georgia and going to Georgia games and watching Georgia on the TV and then watching the Braves, and I love Georgia sports. But man, I would love to see a Texas team do well, and I was really hoping that this would put them on the map, and it did. It put them on the AP poll, and I just think that that's
Which
climbing
I
the
think
way.
is
You
well
just got to get
deserved,
better
and I
from
know
there.
they lost, but I don't
Yeah.
care. They
No.
showed that they
Yeah.
could hang in there with them, and Alabama, they got an easy test. They're playing a small school this week. I forget, some directional school, doormat school they're playing this week. Texas is playing UTSA, which I know is most of the time a directional school, but everybody knows how I feel about the Roadrunners on here. If Hudson Card can't play, the Roadrunners are only 12.5-point dogs. I would not be surprised if they did not cover 12.5 points
Yeah.
if the third string gets to come in. But the defense is gonna. If they play like they did against Alabama, they shouldn't lose the rest of the year. I don't care who's at quarterback.
No.
If
Yeah.
you can hold Bryce Young 20 points, you can hold any offense to below that.
No. Yeah. For sure.
So yeah,
For sure.
but great effort by both teams. I was not expecting it to be that close. This is why we love college football. This is why you
Exactly.
play the games. And yeah, I'm excited to see where both teams go because Texas, I think they're less worried about, let's just be back. Let's be back. Let's be back. And let's just focus on
Yeah.
being
Let's just play
Texas and
good
winning
football.
this week. Let's play
Yeah.
good football. And then,
Exactly.
obviously Alabama, they're Alabama. They're never not going to be
Yeah.
top
And from the
tier.
looks of it, it looks like Steve Sarkisian is just
Yeah,
doing
absolutely.
doing great things there. I mean, he's just had Archie commit, like, but I don't know, man.
They got a lot. The
Hot take for
future's
the pod.
bright
Archie
at
Manning will be
Texas.
a bust. He'll never win a. He'll keep the Manning tradition alive with a no national championship.
I agree with that. Now, if they would have stayed in the Big 12, I could make an argument against that. But since by the time
Especially
he'll get
going in
there,
the
they'll be in
SEC.
the SEC. I don't see it happening. So,
Yeah,
but I also, speaking of that, I think this gives Texas a really good baseline of like, all right, this is what SEC football is going to be like every week. And I think this is a really good matchup to have. And I'm really, really excited to, you know, see how Texas and Oklahoma adapt to the SEC.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, yes, Texas defense only held Alabama to 20. How long are they still going to have Gary Patterson there to be the defensive coordinator first off? Because he really helped, the whole process. He just came from TCU and whatnot. And can they do it week in and week out is going to be the
Yeah.
question in the future. So,
I mean, I think they have potential to, but
100% they had the
but it's
potential.
Texas, man. You never know. They might lose to Kansas this year. Like,
Oh, yeah. Just like West
Yeah.
Virginia and JT Daniels, supposed to be
bro,
man,
that was
they're good. They
tragic.
shouldn't have lost to Pitt, but my God, we're going to go into Kansas and lose by 2
Yeah.
touchdowns. So, yeah.
Maybe Kansas is back. Well, let's jump into.
That was funny. All right. Well,
Let's jump into.
I know we got more games to talk about,
Yeah.
so we just got to rapid fire this thing off real quick. Holy upsets, folks, because I was not expecting any of these 3 games to go the way they did.
No.
I'll start us off with Marshall Notre Dame. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. I'm going to let you cover A&M because, I mean, I know that's really close to you.
Yeah.
I mean, Marshall Notre Dame. I mean, I listened to what their head coach had to say afterwards, and I mean, he said, we believed as soon as we stepped foot in that stadium, we had no doubts we could go in there and beat Notre Dame, which obviously a lot of coaches are going to say that. But teams don't necessarily play like that when they step into that environment, and Marshall played like it from the first snap to the last whistle. There was no doubt in their mind that they were going to lose to Notre Dame, and kudos to them. Marcus Freeman 0-3 as a head coach of Notre Dame so far. If he loses to Cal this upcoming week, his
gone.
seat cannot be any hotter. I mean, this is going to be rough. But I mean, I'm proud of the Thunder and Herd. I love to see games like this where, unexpected finishes. I mean, I was honestly I'm going to be honest. I was taking a nap during the halftime of the Georgia-Samford game, and I woke up from a text from you saying A&M lost to App State and Marshall lost to Notre Dame, or Marshall beat Notre Dame. I couldn't believe it. I had to go check it myself. But Tyler Buckner's out for the year for Notre Dame, which I would say is a huge loss. But based off the way he played at this game, like –
that's not. Yeah, it's not a very big loss after.
Yeah, and Ohio
weekend.
State fans that are complaining about, oh, we have a top 10 win. Man, Notre Dame ain't even in the top 25 anymore. Okay, and like it was that game based off what I saw against Marshall. If y'all don't step it up, Notre Dame ain't nothing to brag about beating. And Notre Dame, I mean, y'all better step it up because Brian Kelly's gonna be having a big old smile on his face in Baton Rouge, Louisiana here before long. So
I mean, I like Notre Dame, but they're always so overrated, bro.
They always are. But I
year.
really thought after they played Ohio State, I was like, okay, this team's a top 10 team based off how they played. They only kept that offense to, 24 points, 21 points, something pretty
21.
low.
Yeah.
And then they come out and absolutely poop themselves against Marshall. I mean,
that's
I don't know.
not okay.
But, yeah. But, hey, shout out to Thunder and Herd. We are Marshall. Matthew McConaughey came back, coached them up for a win. Yeah. I ain't got a whole lot left to say about that because Notre Dame, you're overrated. We won't talk about you again for a while. And Marshall, great. Sun Belt. Hey, all these 3 teams on the left, Sun Belt East teams, they're showing that the Sun Belt's legit, man. I'm here for it. So
I'm here for it too, man.
Yeah.
But this App State Texas A&M game. First of all, I just want to point out that Desmond Howard, for the people that know that, he is a analyst on College Game Day, had Texas A&M, Pitt, Michigan, and then who was the other team he had?
It was Pitt, Texas A&M, Michigan. I forgot the 4th team he had in there.
But 3 out of 4 of them have already lost, so he looks like the biggest idiot. So
I don't think he was. There's no way he was being legitimate about that.
I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't be.
Because you gotta have somebody get you get your
True.
show talked about in week 0 when the best game you
Get
got
your
is
feathers ruffled. Yeah.
Nebraska. Oh my goodness, excuse me, Nebraska Northwestern game.
No, yeah, but man, all I gotta say is Texas A&M. You are a disgrace to the state of
Oh,
Texas.
he had Baylor.
Other than
That was his fourth team was Baylor.
Baylor lost to BYU. We'll get to that in a minute, but
Yep.
A&M. I'm gonna flat out say this. Cult of a school. If you go to A&M, you are an Aggie for life, which I think is a little culty. But man, I always like you texting me and you asked me for a top 25, and I was going through it and I was thinking, I don't think A&M deserves to be in the top 15 because the only game that they have proved themselves to be any good was last year when they beat Bama. And the only reason they beat Bama is because Zach Calzada just went absolute God mode on them.
He went absolute Tim Tebow on them.
Like he hyperextended his leg and came back. He hyperextended his leg, and when he did, he threw like a 30-yard touchdown pass. And they were just like that was I was at that game, and I think that's the only game that I think I could say that A&M has like proved themselves. But other than that, man, I really do think that they are overrated, and I do not think that they should be in the top 15, top 20 because they haven't proved it. I mean, I know they had this great recruiting class, but man, it's not looking too good.
I mean, I've seen some things on Twitter and Instagram this week that got me cracking up.
Yeah.
There's a few like legit 5-star top 5 recruits in the nation supposed to be coming, and like little fan pages will post like, "Hey, this recruit's coming this week," and then he'll repost on his story saying, "I'm not going to A&M because of this."
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I wouldn't want to go to A&M either. Like,
yeah, no, but kudos to App State, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I really thought it was going to be their offense that had to win them this game, but no, it's the defense. Defense, but granted, Texas A&M, they're running an expired offense. This thing expired after Jameis Winston left in 2014, and Jimbo Fisher's still out there calling the same plays. Yeah, no, not a very successful offense. Haynes King, I don't even know if it's a quarterback issue.
I'm gonna stand by this. Connor Wegman is the guy's name that I was trying to think of that one day when I said Zach Calzada. I couldn't think of the incoming freshman that they have. He's a 5-star quarterback out of Bridgeland High School here in Houston, and I think he could be legit.
I mean, yeah, he could be, but it doesn't matter if the play calls are still the same way.
Yeah, true.
They're not getting a lot of spacing. They're not doing a lot of intermediate stuff. They're not being very successful running the ball.
I think the reason that App State won this week is they wanted it more.
They wanted it more.
They had more. They had the more. Shoot, I can't even think which.
I just don't think A&M was that hard to prepare for, and Haynes King's not that hard to prepare for. And I think that made it a little bit easier.
He doesn't have enough. Yeah.
And hey,
Bryce Young is.
Go ahead.
Bryce Young, you can't figure out because he's just got something that'll pull out of his, what.
Yeah.
And you're like, where did that come from? But Haynes King, you don't have that.
Yeah.
At all.
Shout out College Game Day for the absolute most savage move of the weekend, by the way. They were no doubt 100% we're going to go to College Station to watch and be there for the A&M Miami game this week. And as soon as A&M loses, they're like, nah, we're going to go to Boone, North Carolina and watch the Fun Belt play. And we're going to go watch App State and Troy play because Texas A&M's doo-doo. So,
yeah. And, I mean, I think they have to prove themselves this week. I think if you want respect and I think if Jimbo Fisher wants respect at A&M and if he wants this team to take the next step, you have to beat Miami this week.
No doubt. No doubt.
You have to beat Miami this week. And I don't know, man. I don't, because Miami's got Tyler Van Dyke. A&M's got Haynes King.
Really rough on offense, too, though. That's the thing.
Say again?
I said Miami's been looking really, really rough on offense recently. So,
yeah.
But we'll see.
We'll see, man. But.
And then shout out to my friend Mason Hogan and my cousin Ty Halliburton. They both go to Georgia Southern. And They both texted me early, like 9 a.m. Game day just started on Saturday morning. They said Georgia Southern's going to upset Nebraska. And they said, we know we go there or whatnot, but we really think it's a great day to get Scott Frost fired. And my God, did the
It
Georgia
happened.
Southern Eagles go in there and get Scott Frost fired? I mean, that was awesome.
They
That was
knew it.
awesome.
They should have put a future bet on it. Scott Frost.
Oh, I know.
Does
They
Scott Frost
were
get fired today? Yes, -150.
yeah, no, they were Georgia Southern's like 24.5-point dogs by the time kickoff started. And the thing was, Nebraska's offense didn't play bad. I think both teams had over 600 yards of offense. It's just
Yeah.
that like Nebraska's defense filled with a bunch of blind and deaf people. They just don't know how to play.
Yeah, they don't know how to play, and I don't think when everybody was talking about, "Oh, Scott Frost coming back to Nebraska to be the coach," and all it like he's trash.
Yeah, no,
He's
I know I
garbage.
said after they lost to Northwestern, I was like, "Man, I still believe in this team. Like, they got the talent. I could see it." Yeah, no,
No.
everything I said, we're throwing it out the window. They're gonna rebuild. They're probably gonna hire, like, Matt Campbell or Matt Rule. I don't know yet. We'll see, but
Urban
I
Meyer.
don't have a whole lot to say. I'm just gonna quit talking about Nebraska all in general because,
Oh, yeah.
if I
Hang
continue
on,
to
let me
speak
ask you
about
this
them, they're gonna
question.
continue to disappoint me, so
I wanna ask you this question. Who
yeah,
do you
go
think
ahead.
will be the next head coach in Nebraska?
I don't have a definite answer for that right now, but the 2 names I've heard the most are Matt Campbell, the head coach at Iowa State, and Matt Rule, the head coach of the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah. I
So,
have a sleeper pick for you.
go ahead.
Uh, Urban Meyer.
No shot. Absolutely no shot. Maybe, like, after he left Florida, if Nebraska was still in the tank, then, yeah, they would have gotten Urban Meyer, but no, Urban Meyer will not be the head coach of Nebraska. I'll bet you every dime I have on it.
I mean, I don't like the guy. Like, I don't like Urban Meyer, but, I mean, I think that's a great spot for him
Oh,
to
it'd be a great
be coach.
hire, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I think he's a really good, college coach. Obviously terrible in the NFL, but, no, he ain't going to Nebraska.
No,
I think he's doing just fine doing, big noon kickoff coverage.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Alright, let's get into this.
Yes, sir.
Week 2. We got a lot to cover. So, we aren't gonna
Yeah.
talk about the Bama-Texas game since we just talked about it, but let's dive into the Tennessee-Pitt game. You can start.
Alright. This was actually a really good game, and I was not expecting it to be this close. I thought Tennessee could have easily won this game by 14, 17 points. Um, but hey, shout out to Pitt. They proved me wrong. They proved that they can hang in there with I'd say the second best team in the East right now, maybe the third best behind Kentucky in the SEC, especially after I
Yeah.
saw them struggle against West Virginia, who lost to Kansas this past week. And I understand it was week 1, and I said, everybody's got to work out their little, whatever they're struggling with after week 1, because that's the first time you get to see your team play on tape. And it looks like they did a really good job of that.
Yeah.
I know Keaton Slovis went down towards the end of the game, but I will say, I thought Tennessee was gonna have to put up like 40, 50 points because their defense has been very, very lackluster.
Yeah.
But the Vols' defense is what won them this game this past week, and which I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing though, because if they're playing a high caliber competition, as in like Georgia, Alabama here in October, November,
They're gonna get
I don't know
mollywopped.
if you're gonna I don't know if you're gonna be able to rely on your defense to win your games because it's really not. There's nothing special about the defense. They really lack in depth. They really lack in pass coverage. But whatever gets the job done gets the job done. I thought, their offense actually started off really slow,
Yeah.
which I was shocked by. But that also shows that Tennessee's, they're working on the things they weren't seen as very good at, which was defense last year. So,
Yeah.
future's bright. I think they deserve to be 15th right now, but they got to prove
I
it
think so
again
too.
this week. They got to really prove it again this week. So
Me
they're
too. I
playing
agree.
Akron. They're like 47.5-point favorites. So
Man, if they don't cover that, then I don't know if I'd give them the third best in their division. I think I might put Florida in front of them because I mean I don't know, man. Like
I don't no, but the only thing is like they just played Pitt. I forget
yeah,
who they play. I think they play LSU following Akron. If I'm correct, I think they play LSU the following week. So they might just be like, all right, we'll put up like 40 and then we're gonna rest
yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
So
No, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think because I'm arguing with them in the top 3 of their division, but like I think Florida to play Kentucky is a lot more tougher opponent than playing Pitt.
I agree.
But without Keaton Slovis and a backup quarterback that is hobbling down the field, yeah, I don't get it. I
Yeah.
don't know why it was so close. I think Tennessee should have taken care of business and beat them by more than they did. But I mean, it's college football.
Yeah.
These things happen for a reason. Yeah,
That's right.
home field advantage plays a big role.
And I that's another thing. Like based off what I saw against West Virginia, and then again in the next week against Tennessee, I was not expecting Pittsburgh fans to be that packed in Heinz
Yeah,
Field. But hey, kudos to them. I mean, you won the ACC championship. Fans got to show out. So good for them. So I think it might be a little bit of a tougher environment than I might have expected to begin with. So
yeah, but never. Yeah, but I don't think it's anything compared to the SEC. But
I don't either. But I just think, I mean, it's a good win still for the
yeah, I think
Vols,
it's a good win
especially
too.
based off where they were 2 years ago compared to where
Yeah,
they are right now. So
yeah. All right.
I'll
Well,
let you talk about the Hogs a little bit here.
Arkansas absolutely took care of business against South Carolina. Freaking Spencer Rattler has proved my point, and I will go out and say this: you will not catch him anywhere in the NFL. He will not get drafted. He will not be anywhere. I think he goes undrafted. I think he's trash. I don't like Spencer Rattler. I don't like the Gamecocks, probably just because Georgia's playing them this week. And when Georgia's playing a team the week of, I kind of don't really tend to think about them other than they're the villain for the week. But I think Arkansas really looked good. I mean, they had 295 rushing yards and rushed the ball 65 times. They ran the ball down their throat so much. South Carolina ended up liking it. Like, I mean, they
They had no
just
other choice.
yeah, they had no
And
other choice. I mean,
one thing I'm going to say is like, this score does not dictate how this game went. I know
no,
it says only 2 possessions, but if you go back and watch this game, it's South
Arkansas beat
Carolina
them
just
almost. Yeah,
yes, Arkansas beat the brakes off them, and like South Carolina just struggled in all aspects, especially the line of scrimmage. And
yeah.
Arkansas is just more physical, and it's just like they were just doing whatever they wanted. That was the thing, and
Yeah,
but another thing is, wouldn't be surprised if Arkansas beats the heck out of teams, but only beats them by 14 points the rest of the season. Like, I think that's just their style of play.
I
Is
think
they're
so
just
too.
gonna
And
line up and they're gonna run the ball down your throat and they're gonna make you like it. And there's just nothing you
I
can do
think they're
about it.
kind of like how Georgia used to be. They're run first offense. But I mean, with KJ Jefferson, I mean, you have I'd be
You have
running
just so
RPOs
many
all the time.
options you can do with
I'd
him.
be running RPOs all the time
Yeah.
because I mean, you got a playmaker of a quarterback, and then your running back Rocket Sanders is just a freaking dog. And I mean, but like Hunter said, if you go back and watch this game, Arkansas literally beat South Carolina almost every play. But I think South Carolina, the only reason they put up 30 is because like I said last episode, I think the Arkansas defense is questionable. Like you let South Carolina score 30 on you. When you play Bama, they're going to beat if your defense is playing the way they are now and you play Bama come 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now, or no, not 3 weeks. They play them in like November. But
No, they play him pretty early. It's like
yeah,
2 or 3 weeks maybe, yeah.
yeah.
They get
But
him right.
you don't get this fixed and they come to Fayetteville and you play them, they're gonna show you what's up in Fayetteville.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, I don't know because Alabama has stuff to fix on offense because I mean they only scored 20 on Texas.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know, man. Teams change, teams evolve, teams get better a lot while the season goes on. But that's the game that I am looking forward to most this year is the Bama Arkansas game for
I
sure.
will say one thing. I had 3 TVs set up and was watching obviously at
You
Bama.
had a crazy setup.
That was awesome. I
Yeah.
know. I had the Bama Texas game on the middle. I had Wake Vandy on the left, and Arkansas South Carolina on the right. And I swore every time I looked up to the right to watch the Arkansas South Carolina game, number 17, he's a free safety. He looked like he was just getting his rear end whooped up and down the field by a receiver. Get that man a Chuck E. Cheese application and get off the football field. Because, my God, every time I looked up, you looked like you had no business. Like, go be an accountant or something, dude. You had no business being out there. Prove
Frying
me
them.
wrong against
No
Alabama.
remorse.
Yeah.
No remorse. Well,
I'm not going to talk a whole lot about. I'm just going to go ahead and cover some of the games real quick. Wake Forest, Vandy. Sam Hartman looked really good. Vandy went back to being Vandy, but hey, they did put up 25 points, so kudos to them. That's
yeah.
improvement for them, really is. Iowa State, Iowa. Boring game of the most boring game of Saturday, no doubt. The under
In the
did hit.
rain, it was disgusting. Iowa State looked like trash. Iowa looked like trash. Nobody could score. Nobody.
Guess what? Guess what? Let's give a round of applause to Iowa's offense. They found the end zone for the first time. Might be the only time all year. Spencer Petras has like a 3.6 QBR. You're trash. I did not watch Old Dominion versus ECU, but it looked like ECU took care of business pretty handily. Yeah, so I just want to get those 3 games out of the way because I know we're going to spend a little bit more time on Kentucky, Florida, and Baylor, BYU, and we have a lot to preview for next week. So
Yes, we do. So we're going to get through this pretty quick.
Yeah, I'll let you attack Kentucky, Florida real quick.
Anthony Richardson looked like crap. My whole spiel of him being the most athletic quarterback in the SEC, or not the SEC, but in their division, is I don't think that highly of him anymore. I mean, but it is only one loss. He can bounce back from it. I expect him to bounce back from it. In Kentucky, man, Kentucky, everybody wants to say the winner of this game has a chance of beating Georgia. No, I don't think so. The way Kentucky, I think this game was by far the most physical, mouth to mouth, just downright SEC football this weekend. I think this was back and forth the entire game, and then Kentucky ran away with it. But I mean, I think Florida's Florida, but I mean they could prove me wrong, and I think Kentucky. You heard me at the beginning. But I think Kentucky might have a shot to make a long run. But I think they have their hands full with Georgia for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson, aka AR-15, has officially ran out of ammo. That man is done. I don't know why Florida's allowing somebody to wear number 15 again in that stadium for the first place. That number should be retired from.
Oh, absolutely. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. But anyways, I think he completed sub 40% of his passes, sub 30.
Yeah.
Like 2 picks, 1 pick six. Just sloppy, man. Yeah, I think he only had 1 rushing yard. And now I know that, if you get sacked, that counts against your rushing yards, which I think is stupid. But I don't know. Did not look good. And that was the biggest concern for me as far as Anthony Richardson goes. And I think I discussed this in the SEC preview. It's just inconsistency.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, the inconsistency is what's going to come back to bite. I mean, you saw it last year. He showed spurts, yes, of this, that, and the other. And then he had 3 turnovers in less than 2 minutes against Georgia in the second quarter last year.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that Georgia defense was killer, but he could have done a little bit better job than what he did.
I think so too.
Kentucky, good for y'all. You really have to work on your run game. If you don't, then it might be a little bit longer of a season than you might expect for you. That's the only concern. I think Will Levis is overrated. I don't think he's very good at playing the position known as quarterback on the football field.
I think you're out of your mind.
I don't think he is. I don't think he's that good. I don't.
I think you. Yeah, man. We don't have to disagree on that one because I think.
I mean that's fine. That's what we're here for. We're not.
No, yeah. I like having disagreements.
I just don't think he's that good. Nothing like I understand he's got the body type and he might have a decent arm, but I just think he's overhyped. I think I'm saying this because everybody's like, first round draft pick, top 15 draft pick. I think if he wouldn't have been that, hyped up, then I probably wouldn't be saying this. But I don't think he's that good, man.
No, yeah, I mean,
He
I get
hasn't
that,
shown
but
me anything to make him that good.
the thing he showed me is he went into the swamp and took care of business. That's all I gotta say. But
Yeah,
their defense won them that game.
their defense most definitely won
Most
them that game,
definitely
and
won
the
them that
special
game. Yeah.
teams. Yeah, don't forget about the special teams out there. Coming from a long snapper, yours truly. Okay, don't forget about special teams. All right, that's enough about that game. As
Baylor
far as how they
BYU.
go, oh yeah, we can just go into Baylor BYU. Yeah, Baylor, you wasted my absolute time this
You
past
burned
week.
a hole in his wallet.
Yeah, you made me stay up till 3:30 or like 2:45. I don't even remember the time. It was like 2:45, 3 in the morning. Okay, just to
Just to go into
watch you,
overtime and get beat.
just to go into overtime and get beat because both. I mean, y'all both gave me a preview for Sunday because both of these kickers didn't know how to make a field goal, and neither did anybody in
No,
the
yeah.
NFL on Sunday.
Yeah.
This was a very physical game. Shout out BYU because like you're always seen as overrated and like you're in the Independence Conference, but like you're always overshadowed by Notre Dame. But who's to say if you run the table and you beat like your 3 or 4 or 5 ranked opponents you have on your schedule that you can't make an argument to be in the playoff? Now you're not going to do that because you're going to lose this week to Oregon. Spoiler alert. But yeah, I don't know. I think going to Provo, halfway
I
across
think
the
time
country trip
change,
for
altitude change, I think it's
all of it.
just
Just
yeah.
it wasn't good for Baylor, and I think
Baylor's gonna
Baylor.
bounce back.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind
Most
that Dave
definitely, and
Aranda
they'll
is going
be
to
in
have that
Dallas
team
at the end
ready
of
to
the year.
go. Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt. Jared Hall for BYU played a really good game at quarterback. Found some. I think their 2 top receivers are out, and so I think that's what they had said on the
Yeah.
covering the game.
BYU was out there too.
And so they made the most out of it. So don't be or be on the lookout, I should say, for BYU this year. I mean, they might be a little bit of a sleeper team if they can run the table and win. They play Arkansas later this year. They play Oregon this week, and I think they have I don't know if they play Utah this year or not, but yeah. I mean, the potential's there. The Cougs can do it, man. But I think just they're like 25, 26 years old out there. So like, what are you really
Yeah.
bragging about being a bunch of freshmen?
But I mean, if Notre Dame bounced back, you should throw BYU and Notre Dame in a bowl game.
They play
Like
each other in Vegas this year.
Oh, they do?
They're playing in the Raiders Stadium. Yes, sir. Them two play each other this year. So that's actually going to be a really good game because
BYU
I think
wins.
Notre Dame will eventually bounce back. It just might take a minute. So
Yeah, I think it will too. I think it will take Marcus Freeman a little bit to settle in.
which
But
I think is okay. Like this is
yeah.
you have to remember 2 years ago he's a defensive coordinator. I know we're getting off topic, but Marcus Freeman 2 years ago was a defensive coordinator at Cincinnati. Last year he's a defensive coordinator at Notre Dame, and this is his first time ever being a head coach.
Yeah, he'll get it figured out.
Maybe he wasn't the right call for the job, but I think he will eventually get it figured out. He seems like he wants. I mean, like
he wants it, yeah.
Yeah, and
But
he's
do his players
determined.
want it? That's the question.
Yeah, that's the real question.
Yeah.
Baylor, as far as they go, they're going to bounce back. Dave Aranda's going to get them ready for a nice 10-2, 11-1 season. I don't see him losing too many more games because I just think Dave Aranda's one of those coaches you lose once to, or if he loses once the year, he's going to make sure they're ready to go for the rest of the
he's gonna bust your.
And I think, the players are going to be, they're going to be determined because I think they know they have an argument if they went out to make the playoffs. So
yeah,
for sure.
But I think like Hunter, I've said it multiple times, but I think Baylor bounces back, and I do still think that they end up in Dallas at the end of the year. I just don't see any other team in their conference taking care of business like Baylor will. Because Baylor's definitely going to bounce back from this. Don't think that this is going to take a toll on their
no doubt
organization. But let's jump in.
Yeah, that'll do it for week 2.
3.
So we're here for week 3. Man, when I first looked at this, I remember I made this spreadsheet or I made this graphic like as soon as we were done filming last week's preview, and I was just, dude, these games, they suck.
They do.
It's like there's not a lot to look at. And now I'm like, man, there's some interesting stuff. Like BYU just beat Baylor. They're going to play Oregon, who got their mud hole stumped in by Georgia, but had to put up 70 points this past week against an FCS opponent. Penn State Auburn. I don't care how bad Auburn is. I think it's going to be a great game inside Jordan Hare. Texas A&M loses to App State. Washington's 2-0 against a 2-0 Michigan State team who's ranked 11th.
Go Huskies.
Mississippi State's favored on the road going into Death Valley to LSU. And then you have a 2-0 Texas Tech team. Then you got a 2-0 Texas Tech team welcoming in an NC State team, which is a weird out-of-conference matchup that I'm here for.
Me
With
too.
a team that struggled with a team that's been a little surprising. So it's really not that bad when you take a whole look at it. And if there's anything's going to live up to last week, I mean, there could be some more upsets this week. So
I think so too. I think there could be some upsets. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Tech beats NC State.
you know what? I'm not going to tell you there's not going to be any upsets because
There will be one.
there will be some.
There will be one.
But here's the thing.
And I just hope it's not Michigan State.
The reason why I didn't put BYU and Baylor on the upsets page is because, yes, BYU was ranked, 20th, and Baylor was ranked in the top 15.
Yeah.
But BYU is favored by 3.5 points at the end of the day. So is that really an upset at that point? I don't think so. So, but let's talk about it. Let's get into week 3. The first game we got up is we have Big Noon Kickoff, which about 5 weeks ago when we did our Big Ten preview, I said Nebraska was going to beat Oklahoma.
No.
Man, do I look retarded now. The Sooners are going on the road to Lincoln, Nebraska. Only 11.5 point favorites.
Yeah.
They'd move up in the AP poll to 6. Took an A&M spot. But Nebraska's got a new head coach. Jance, tell me who you got in this game and why.
I got Oklahoma minus 11.5. I think Nebraska losing Scott Frost and not really having their who's going to be the next head coach. I think just with their replacement, I don't think that they hold a candlelight to Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma comes into Lincoln and just absolutely mops the floor with them and shows everybody why they're number 6.
And there are so many, for all the sports bettors up there, there are so many trap lines this week, man. Y'all, I
hate
recommend playing it very, very safe. I know, I'll just go ahead and tell you right now, it is my lock of the week. I'll just go ahead and pull the hammer out. I'm hammering this. You can always rely on the Iowa under the hit. Let me just tell you that right now. They suck. They can't put up points. They're playing Nevada, who lost to a school called Incarnate Word, okay?
That's in San Antonio.
Incarnate Word, sorry. Yeah. They lost to Incarnate Word, okay? And they play Nevada, and neither team is scoring 42 points. That is going to be an under. I'll go ahead and tell you, that is my lock of the week this week, boys.
I like it.
I'm going to take the Oklahoma money line. I'm not saying they're not going to cover 11.5, but I'm also not going to tell you that they're going to not cover 11.5.
Yeah.
Because for all I know, this coach that's coming in for Nebraska is going to get their defense ready. And we know the offensive talent is there.
Yeah, it is.
How good is this Oklahoma defense really going to be? This is the first time they're going on the road, and I think the Nebraska fans are going to show out in celebration of firing Scott Frost. So I think it will be a little bit of a rowdy environment. We'll see how it goes. Last year, this game was kind of close. I'm just going to play it safe and go with Oklahoma money line, though.
Yeah.
But I do think they will come out of the win. This is Brent Venables' first true road test on the road as a head coach. And Dylan Gabriel, it's going to take a little bit to get into. So I think it might take a little bit for Oklahoma to get started in this game, which might come back to them not covering. But who knows? At the end of the day, I still have the Sooners taking the W. Oh, I'm watching that game too, 17-14. I can tell you're looking up. Next up on here, we got BYU going into Eugene, Oregon to face the Ducks. And the Ducks are 3.5 point favorites, folks. Yes. Number 12, BYU, who just beat Baylor, is going on the road to play 25th ranked Oregon, who got the brakes beat off of them by Georgia. And the Ducks are the 3.5 point favorites. Chance, break it down for me, my man.
I am going to take Oregon money line. I'm not going to take their spread because I wouldn't surprise me if they lose this game outright. But I don't think that they. If I had to take a spread, I would take. Actually, yeah, I would probably take BYU plus 3.5. But I mean, if I was picking a winner, I'm going to pick Oregon. I think Bo Nix actually gets kind of a feel to things now, and I think that he goes home to. I mean, he's at home this week, so I think that they have a shot to take down BYU. But I mean, I don't. Like I said, I would not be surprised if BYU goes in there and takes care of business because from what I've seen of Oregon, I didn't see much of them last week, but what I've seen against them when they played against Georgia was just
Sad and
awful.
depressing.
Like I feel, yes, I mean it is depressing because I mean you and I both want Dan Lanning to do well,
Yeah.
and if you lose to BYU this year, or right now, then
Honestly, though, if you lose to BYU, I don't think it's the end of the world because I don't think that the expectations are as high as
yeah,
everybody, as writers say they are, rather than what the people inside of the athletic program say they are. Because I think they know, like, first year, 3 or 4 losses are kind of expected. He's
yeah,
still trying to figure it out. He hasn't had a real recruiting class yet. He
sure,
hasn't really had a chance to develop these players. And BYU's ranked 12, and they just beat Baylor, so I don't think it's the end of the world. My pick is going to be Oregon money line as well. I actually got this spread down to 1.5, so that's what I got it at on my thing. So that's what I bet it at was Oregon minus 1.5, and I think they will cover that. I'm not going to even talk about the 3.5 because like that is such a coin flip, but I'm just
yeah,
going to stick with Oregon money line. And the reason why is because they're playing at home. BYU just had a very, 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 very physical matchup with Baylor. I think they're worn out. I think they almost had to pull out every trick in the book. I seen a play last week where they had to do a touchdown pass for their quarterback. Okay. I think Oregon, they had a really well rested week. They built up some more confidence against Eastern Washington. Bo Nix, like you said, starting to feel more comfortable. He's back at home. I think Justin Flo and Noah Sewell in the middle of the linebacker core, they're going to hold it down. And I do think Oregon will get a nice top 12 win right here.
yeah,
So, yeah.
top 15
Man,
win, which they
this
need.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
This next game is going to be game of the week. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you right now. I think this is going to be the game of the week,
Penn State Auburn.
and it is Penn State Nittany Lions 3.5 point 3 point favorites, I should say. Now ranked actually 22, going on the road, traveling from State College, Pennsylvania, down to Auburn, Alabama, into Jordan Hare Stadium, take on the Auburn Tigers. Chance, you tell me. This is another just man. I don't even know,
Yeah,
man.
I mean, trap line for sure. Because I
Yeah,
mean, since it's in Jordan O'Hare, I think Auburn has a very, very, very high chance of beating Penn State. But I don't know. I think Penn State is the better team, just from like what both of these teams have shown this year. But I'm going to take Penn State money line, and yeah, like I'm not going to take their spread. I'm not going to take Auburn to win. I'm not going to take Auburn to cover 3. I'm going to take Penn State to win because Penn State is the better football team. But I mean, better teams don't always win. Like, because SEC championship last year, Georgia was the better team. They didn't win. But
App
I
State was
mean,
not the better team against Texas A&M.
Texas
Marshall was
A&M,
not the better
absolutely not.
team.
They just wanted it more. And if
Yeah,
Auburn wants it at home, then I can totally see them beating Penn State. But I mean, I think I'm expecting Penn State to just take care of business. But I mean, it's in Auburn, and when you go to play an SEC school, I don't care how bad they are, they're going to give you a run for their money.
yeah. Wow, this game was very hard for me to decide on. I know when we did our SEC preview, I said Auburn was going to go like 5-7, and this was going to be a game that they were going to lose. Um, the more and more I've thought about it, I don't know, man. Penn State, yeah, you can say they play in a tough environment, but the tough environment everybody always thinks of is their whiteout game, and that's not a tough environment for them. That just is obviously a lot easier for them.
Yeah.
I don't think they've really had to play in that big of a game at the big house. Michigan or
Yeah.
maybe Ohio State. I'll go ahead and tell you right now, Jordan Hare Stadium is probably the most underrated. It is a top 3 hardest place to play in the entire nation. I'll go ahead and tell you that firsthand. I don't know what it is. James Franklin is 19-18 on the road as the head coach of Penn State, just over 500.
Had to be 1919.
I'm taking Auburn money line. I think the Auburn War Eagle Tigers.
The Warriors
Just
the Tigers. What
just
is
pick
it?
the
Somebody
mascot, man.
make up your mind.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna pick the Tigers to actually come out of Jordan Hare 3-0. I know they struggled with San Jose State last week. They only beat them by like 14 points. I don't care. Something tells me this game's at 3:30. It's at Jordan Hare. It's gonna be loud. It's gonna be packed. It's gonna be rocking. I really don't even have a huge explanation besides that the Auburn
You're
Tigers are
so
gonna
you're
show.
taking Auburn money line.
I think Auburn's winning outright.
Okay.
So, yeah,
I respect it.
I'm taking Auburn to win. I think
They need a win.
They do, and I think the SEC needs a win too, especially after A&M won to poop themselves last week on national television. So,
But
speaking of A&M,
let's get into them.
you got it. Go ahead.
Pause. But I think, I mean, you heard me. I was just trashing on A&M a little bit, but yeah, you're a disgrace to the state. You're a cult. You're one of the worst teams in the SEC. I don't like A&M at all, but I think that if they want to be a contender and want to be respected, you got to beat Miami. And I think in Kyle Field, it's going to be sold out, or it's already sold out. In Kyle Field, sold out. Jimbo is getting this team fired up. They need a bounce back win. I think that they're going to fix things from last week, and I think that they beat Miami outright. I'm not taking 6. I'm not taking 3. I'm not taking 2. I'm taking just to win by 1 point. And I think that they have a shot to do it. But I mean, like you said earlier, Miami's offense hasn't been very good. And from week 1, who did they play? Week 1, and they just
Bethune-Cookman. They put up 70.
Yeah.
But it took them till
It took them a while to put up
half.
70. Yeah.
And they were losing to Southern Miss at the end of the first quarter last week. And they were only winning by 3 at halftime. They ended up winning by 3 possessions or something. But
yeah,
way too slow of a start against Southern Miss.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, I mean, my thing is Tyler Van Dyke is obviously the better quarterback than Haynes King. But I think A&M bounces back this week and takes care of business and shows that App State was just their screw up of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that's their only loss of the year. I definitely think that
I don't either.
Yeah.
Man, I don't care if it is their only loss of the year. The committee ain't gonna let them in if they lost to App State.
No, yeah.
They ain't making the playoff anymore. Here's the thing. You know how high I am on the Canes this year. I had them as the 4 seed in the playoff, beating Clemson, which if they keep DJU in, I 100% believe Miami can beat Clemson twice.
I think so too.
But this is going to be their hardest game of the year, and this is going to be the hardest game Tyler Van Dyke's ever played in.
Playing in Kyle Field, you're not going to be able to hear anything.
This is going to be the hardest game Mario Cristobal's played in as a head coach.
Yep.
Miami, their offense, yes, they have the talent. They just start way too slow for my liking, and you cannot start slow. I don't care if App State only scored 17 points. They scored 40 in the fourth quarter against North Carolina 2 weeks ago. Okay.
Yeah.
A&M's defense legit. I don't care if they lost to App State. That defense is legit. One of the best in the SEC, no doubt. Which that automatically makes it one of the top of the nation. You can't start slow. Jimbo's not
going to come out firing. Yeah.
Yeah, Jimbo's not going to allow the Aggies to lose 2 games in a row.
No.
They're going to win. They're going to win inside Kyle Field. Not only give me the Aggies minus the 5.5. They're going to cover this game.
Wow.
And I know I had Miami going. Actually, this is I can't. Yeah, no, this is the one game I had them losing.
Yep.
So I'm staying true to that. So yes, sir.
I
I got the Aggies covering 5.5.
all right. I got the Aggies just winning outright. I ain't got them. I don't have them covering. I don't think they
I got
cover.
that, which I 100% understand.
Yep.
I just think this is a huge bounce back spot. I think they're gonna come out firing all cylinders.
Yeah, but yeah, man, that's definitely the game I'm looking forward to most. Actually, no, it's not. No, it's not.
I know what yours is. We'll get to it in a second.
Yep.
All right, next game we
You
got.
can dive in.
Hang on, let me just hold up my sweatshirt real quick.
Hey, man.
The number 1 defending national champion Georgia Bulldogs. Number 1 ranked. Just friendly reminder to all my Bama fans out there. Number 1 ranked Dogs. 24.5-point favorites going on the road to Columbia, South Carolina. I'll be making my way up to Columbia, South Carolina tomorrow about 11 o'clock. Getting ready for the game. I'll be there on Saturday. I'm looking forward to it. Man, this is going to be – I think it might be a little bit of a physical fest to start, like, in the first quarter. And then I don't think this game's going to be close after the first quarter.
I don't think so either, man. I think
it's
Georgia
gonna
knocks
be
the socks off these guys.
Because you know why, man? Like, here's the thing. A lot of people are like, man, Georgia only put up 33. They only put up 3 points in the second half against Samford. Let me go ahead and tell you right now. The difference between Stetson Bennett when he played Oregon is he woke up that morning, he was locked in, and he knew he had to go out and show out, just like everybody else in that team.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, anybody that was first or second string on this team, this Georgia team, this past week they had to play Samford, probably woke up Saturday morning, hung over from partying the night before, and just went out there and did whatever they wanted, didn't really
They basically
care.
just ran practice. It was like
Yeah,
the scout team
exactly.
against the ones. Like,
And let me go ahead and tell you, Stetson Bennett's been posting throwing some shots and posting some motivational music on his Instagram story since Monday of this week. He's ready. He's going to go to Columbia, and he's going to show why he's a top 5 Heisman contender right now. I'm excited to see it. The mailman's going to deliver another huge win. Give me the Dogs minus 24.5.
yeah, man, I'm with you. I'm taking the Dogs minus 24.5. Even if it was 25, I'm still going to take 25. I think they win.
I'd take this game up to 31.5.
30, yeah, I'd take it up to. I wouldn't say 31.5, but I'd take it up to 30 for sure. But Spencer Rattler, trash. But I mean, you go into South Carolina, Georgia used to always choke to South Carolina.
Yeah.
They used to be the one school that we always struggle against. And I mean, South Carolina does need a win, but I don't think it's this week. And I think Georgia mops the floor. And if Georgia loses to South Carolina, they aren't going back to back.
Yeah, but it could be their one loss of the year. Who knows?
Nah,
it's just way too early to tell with all this stuff, man.
Yeah.
Usually you can tell by week 5, week 6. That's right before, right at the halfway point where you can really tell.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, I think the number is 21. I could be wrong. It might be 14, but I really think it's got to be 21 because of that year they beat when Georgia was ranked number 2 and they played in Athens and they were a 2-win team with Will Muschamp and they beat us in Athens. But
yeah,
what I was going to say was the number's 20. Yeah, the number's got to be 21. South Carolina have scored more than 21 points against Kirby Smart Georgia team. So, just something to keep out for if you're doing score predict. Oh, I guess I can give my score prediction real quick. Since the Dogs wanted to outdo me last time, I was going to give one about the Samford game, obviously. But since we got them up here, I'll do a little score prediction. I'll say South Carolina puts up 13 points, and Georgia will put up 45. 45-13 Georgia.
Georgia puts up 54.
Wow.
Yeah, I think their offense just comes in and just starts cooking. I think Stetson Bennett definitely shows everybody that he's not the guy to mess with this year. And I genuinely do think that he has. I think that if he keeps playing the way he does, he'll get a trip to New York. But
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, but South Carolina 17, Georgia 54.
All right, there you go. Respect it. All right, I'm just gonna let you can run your mouth about this one because you were so high on the Washington Huskies.
I am just. This is the game I am looking forward to most this week. I know it's probably kind of sad that I'm looking forward to this game the most this week, but I think the Washington Huskies have a chance of beating Michigan State this year. I really like Washington -4, and I will be taking Washington -4. And actually, I'll probably buy it down to 3, but I'll probably be taking Washington -3. And I think that they take care of business against Michigan State. And I think that they show that they are a serious contender this year, like I've been saying all year.
Dude, I am so sorry to interrupt because I know you're really high on the Huskies, but please tell me you just saw what you. Please tell me you're watching this game on the TV.
Pick 6, Jay Herbo.
Yes,
Yeah.
on the 5-yard line, 5-yard line. Herbert just threw a pick six.
That's
That is
sad.
terrible. 95 yards to the house. I am so sorry. I did not
No,
mean
you're
to do
good.
that.
You're good.
But yeah,
No,
I
but
did.
yeah, I
No,
think, like I said,
I heard
Washington
everything
takes
you
care of
said.
business and beats Michigan State.
Yeah.
And if they don't, if they lose, I'll do something, and Hunter will tell me to do something, and then we'll post it on Twitter. But I'm
I
very
think
confident in this.
a good thing I can find about the Huskies in this situation is that Michael Penix Jr. has been airing it out, and the coach has been letting them air it out. And Michigan State last year, I know this was last year, and they've improved. They definitely have improved on this. They are a lot better. Not saying they're significantly better, like they're top tier or anything, but they have gotten a lot better. Um, at last year, Michigan State was 130th, absolute dead last in secondary defense last year. Pass coverage, terrible. Washington likes to air it out. They're liking, they're letting the confidence build in their quarterback. I think Sparty's too physical right now, man. I'm not. Gosh, I don't. Yeah,
Now go
I'm
with
gonna
your heart.
take. I'm gonna go with Michigan State +4. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Michigan State +4. If I had to choose a winner, I'm actually gonna go with Sparty. I'm gonna go with Michigan State to win this game.
Okay. I mean, that's respectable. I mean, they are a top. I mean, they're ranked 11 in the nation
But
for a
Washington,
reason.
yeah, Washington at home getting 4 points in Seattle against, and they're unranked. And Michigan State's ranked 11th. So, but I'm gonna take Sparty to win. I think Mel Tucker's gonna get a huge win right here. First year head coach of Washington. I don't know. Obviously, Vegas knows something I don't, so I'm probably gonna look like an absolute clown when Washington beats them by like 11 points or something. But I'm gonna take Michigan State to win outright. But
That's
just to be
respectable.
safe,
I mean,
I'll put my official pick as +4.
Okay. My official pick is just Washington money line. I'm not taking their
Right.
-4. I'm just going to take them to win outright. But I mean, if Washington does beat Michigan State, that just proves that they're a serious contender. Like not a
Yeah, I
contender.
mean they could be a sleeper team. They could be matching up against USC in the Pac-12 championship.
Yeah, like for their division, I think they're a serious sleeper and a serious contender. And I think that they have a chance to prove it this week against Michigan State. So
Yeah,
you got to capitalize on your opportunities, and I think Washington will. So,
no doubt, no doubt.
yeah.
Yeah.
Me and my family.
Yeah. Time to get into some Mississippi State versus LSU. Mississippi State 2-point favorites, as previously mentioned, going on the road. You don't see this often. Mississippi State, or just any team, honestly, being favored going into Death Valley, unless your name's Alabama. Like you just don't see it often. I think Mississippi State. I think they're underrated. I think they should probably be 25th over Oregon. If I had to, do it my way.
Yeah.
I think they're very slept on. I think Will Rogers is legit, man. He's turning down the interceptions a lot, which I've always been like, well, that just kind of comes with the Mike Leach offense. Interceptions just part of it, but he's done a very good job of controlling the ball, keeping it, in their possession.
I mean, I think so. I've seen videos of him and Dak Prescott working out together.
Yeah.
And I think Dak has really helped him. And I mean, you saw Mississippi State last year; they were awful.
Yeah.
And now this year, I think they're pretty.
I think they're honestly pretty solid, man. Like they might be a little bit. Like I said, I think it was against A&M. Yeah. A&M.
Yeah, it was at A&M
trap.
last
They
year.
have A&M plays Arkansas, then they play Mississippi State, then they play Alabama, and I said Mississippi State's going to beat them because they're such a trap team game, man.
Yeah.
But I'm actually, dude, I can't pick a winner on this. I'm going to take Mississippi State on the road. I
Okay.
just have not seen enough from LSU. I think it's going to be very, very high scoring
Yeah,
because I
I'm
think
gonna take
Mississippi State's
LSU.
defense sucks, but I think LSU's defense is terrible too. And
Yeah,
I think
I mean,
Mississippi State's going to put up a lot of points. Uh, I'm just going to take Mississippi State money line. I'm not confident in this pick at all.
yeah,
But I would not be surprised if LSU won it, which would be huge for Brian Kelly after that Week 1 disappointment against Florida State. But I am going to take the Bulldogs.
yeah,
I'm going to take Will Rogers and the Fighting Mike Leaches to get the win.
that's smart. But I'm going against you again, and I'm gonna take LSU +2. I think just because it's in Death Valley and how crazy that environment is, I don't think that Mississippi State comes in and takes care of business, and I think LSU needs
I understand
to
that
win
one.
again.
Mm.
I definitely think they need to win again, and this is a great opportunity against a Mississippi State team that people also think that have a chance, but have a chance to be a team to beat teams that they aren't supposed to, and be a sleeper, be a dark
Oh
horse.
yeah, no
Yeah,
doubt. I 100% I told you it was a tough decision for me to make, but I'm going to take Mississippi State on the road.
yeah.
So,
I'm gonna take LSU
um,
+2. So
all right, and this is the final game we have on here. And this is where I don't know. I was kind of running out of game ideas, but this actually is a pretty underrated game if you ask me. We have two and O teams. One being number 16th ranked NC State going on the road to Lubbock, Texas as 10.5 point favorites. Texas Tech.
to a team that could be argued as a top 25 team.
Okay, now you're
I
stretching.
think so.
I don't know if they're that good. They beat Houston in double overtime
Double
last week.
overtime. Yep.
The Cougs, man, they just
They're
can never
falling
get.
off, man.
They are falling off. Very overrated so far this year.
Yep.
And then who did Texas Tech beat Week 1? Do you remember? I don't
I
remember.
don't remember.
But they're 2-0.
Something format.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was. Yeah, it was. They played like Albany or something. They won like
Yeah.
63-10. But they're 2-0, and a lot of people had Houston, which Houston did lose by 3. Thank God I bought the half point, and I got 3.5.
Yeah.
So that helped me out last week. NC State with Devin Leary, obviously a very, 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 very worrisome start against East Carolina 2 weekends ago.
Almost lost.
They should have lost that game.
Yeah.
But I think they're turning it around. I think, that was an underrated game. ECU might be a little bit of an underrated sleeper of a group of 5 team.
Yeah.
I think NC State's still good. I think they still can make a run in the ACC. They proved against Charleston Southern. I know it's Charleston Southern. It's a doormat school. Give them your check, get out and leave. But
Yeah.
but when you play those type of teams, you're supposed to go out there and beat the crap out of them, unlike A&M and Notre Dame and those schools. But I'm gonna take Texas Tech plus 10.5. I'm gonna take NC State to win the game.
I'm gonna take NC State to win the game, but I'm gonna take Texas Tech to cover 10.5 as well. I think Texas Tech definitely has a chance this week to show y'all what I'm thinking.
What
For sure.
exactly is it that you're thinking, sir?
I just think that they should be more respectable, and I think that they're
Oh,
top
if they
25
win
team.
this game, they will be ranked.
Yeah,
So, and
I think.
yeah,
But I mean, I don't really have much to say about this game because
it's
I
just
think
so many
NC State
question
can just
marks,
kill
dude.
them. Yeah,
So many question marks.
like this week is just so
It's
because
just like you don't even know
the
what to
good
think
teams,
anymore.
the good teams are in like the bad team's house, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, could that environment actually come into effect? And like some weeks, I think, like some games, I think it does, and then other games, I'm just like, nah. Like Georgia, South Carolina, I don't think that playing in Columbia is going to make a difference at all. Playing in Kyle Field, Miami, and A&M, I think that's going to make hell of a difference. And then I think Mississippi State playing in LSU is going to make a difference as well.
Yeah. I mean, you just never know.
So many question marks.
There's just so many question marks. You don't even know what to think about teams anymore after what you
No.
saw last week. So
Yeah.
everybody's well scattered. But we'll see how it all works out. What's your one lock of the week, my friend? And
My one lock.
we'll do another one. Give me a little sleeper pick while you're at it. One that you're thinking about sprinkling a little bit of money on.
Probably A&M minus 5.5.
Okay.
Because I mean, I think a lot of people are saying that Miami's going to beat A&M, but I mean, I think A&M needs to bounce back right now, and I think that if they beat them by 6, then that's proving their point. But my sleeper for you, that nobody else on planet Earth is going to
It doesn't have to be on this list.
see. I haven't even looked at the slate for this week.
I got you.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Your sleeper's Washington minus.
oh yeah, for sure. Washington minus 4 even.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my sleeper for sure. But I'd buy it down to 3. I'd be smart and buy it down to 3.
No doubt. 100%. Honestly, probably 2.5.
2.5. Yeah.
On this list, my favorite spread is actually none of them, but the one I'm probably most confident in would be A&M minus 5.5 or Georgia minus 24.5.
Yeah.
But my favorite spread of the week is USC minus 9.5 against Fresno State. I'm gonna ride these Trojans till I can't no more because my God, they look legit, and it's kind of scary for the rest of the Pac-12.
They do look
I'm
legit.
gonna ride them till I can't no more.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see what their defense is terrible, but their offense is so good.
Yeah.
It's so fun to watch. Yeah. So, but I got it earlier in the week. I guarantee you the line's probably up to like 12.5 now. But I really I would probably buy the line up to 3 touchdowns because I don't think Fresno State is anywhere close
No,
as good as that
I
USC
don't think so
offense.
either.
But my lock of the week, I already said it. I don't care who Iowa plays. I'm gonna bet they're under until they prove me they can score more than 7 points. Yeah, but that's about all I have.
Man, I'm excited for this week.
I am too. I just because
There's a lot of
so
question
much
marks in the
unexpected stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of question marks in the air since it's still so early that I think questions will be answered this week for sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
100%. Well, I greatly appreciate it. I know it's late. I
It
think
is late.
what time is it right now? It is 10:47 my time. So it'll be out by probably 11:15 my time, which is fine. Everybody can, listen to it tomorrow morning.
Yep.
Listen to it tomorrow afternoon. Listen to it Saturday before the game start. But
Exactly.
man,
But yeah.
yeah, man.
You got anything else you want to say?
No, I'm all good. The only thing I'd have to
Yeah.
say is, just remind everybody, if you want to pull back up our socials page, I'll go
Oh,
back
yeah,
over that. Don't forget to leave a comment on this video. Tell Jansen and I how dumb we are for.
Tell me how smart I am for taking Washington after they beat Michigan State.
Yeah, that too. Tell me how dumb I am for. My sleeper pick of the week. I forgot to announce this. This is what I'm going to say. UTSA plus the points against Texas. Okay. It's at like 11. You can get it from anywhere from probably like 12.5 to 14. Tell me how dumb I am for that. But that's my sleeper pick of the week is UTSA plus the points against Texas.
Good pick.
Yeah. We have a Twitter at going_for2. I usually hop on there during Saturdays, and I try my best to tweet out during games. Just so hard because there's so much important stuff going on.
Yeah.
On Saturday, I'm probably gonna let Jansen take over because I'll be at the Georgia game. Unless you're
day
working.
off, so
Okay, that's perfect.
be a day full of college football that I'm excited for. So
Yes, sir. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We greatly appreciate every and all
Leave
of
us a
our
like.
listeners. Don't forget to leave a like on the video. We also appreciate those. But yeah, that's about all I have. I'm very, 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 very grateful to have this show and do it with you. It makes me happy. Gets me getting me through my days. So I greatly appreciate all that, and I appreciate all of our listeners, I should say. Anybody that gives this show attention, I greatly appreciate it. God first, God bless. Thank y'all.
See you later.
See y'all next week.
Yes, sir.